In this video, I'll go through creating a cylinder with a gradient tool and creating a glass bottle with the mesh tool. You run into cylinders quite often. You should always make them vertical or horizontal. Its top and bottom are easily done with the ellipse tool. When I have two similar size ellipses on top of each other, I can remove their halves just by selecting one of the anchor points and deleting. Then I can join these half ellipses with the pen tool. I then shorten the form by selecting the top anchor points with the white tool and moving them. Now I see the gradient I'm trying to mimic. Next up is the setting of the colors. These gradients will have quite a few colors. I'll drag the colors from the swatches panel to the gradients. I then edit them with the gradient tool on top of the form. If needed, I'll change the color by double-clicking on the stop. It's important to notice that the gradients will have bar-like forms. This means that I need two of the same or almost the same colors next to each other. You can do this also by creating a stop just next to another stop and then drag it a bit. In most occasions, you need to put another gradient on top of the base gradients. This form is quite often a opaque to transparent gradient that is to a different direction than the base gradients. This was a fast demo of creating a metal cylinder. Next, we'll briefly check how we can create a bottle with the mesh tool. I again create two reference images next to each other on different layers. I'll then create a third layer where I will create the arts. I'll start by creating a rectangle and then start thinking where I need a color change or a form change on the rectangle. I'll then add mesh points to these places with the mesh tool. After this, I'll start moving the mesh points. I select them and move them with the white arrow. This makes it possible to change the mesh and the form at the same time. I try to keep the mesh as simple as possible because editing it is quite hard. Next, I'll add roughly the right colors. I don't try to create all of the colors to the same mesh. Some of the colors break because the mesh points have too long vector handles. I need to shorten some of them. This bottle has a seam that I could have done with a mesh tool, but I decided to do it as a separate bar with the gradients. I think I could have lived with a flat surface. For the highlights, I create their own mesh forms, making the edge points transparent. On the neck area, I use mesh and flat surfaces. This is how you can start creating a bottle from a rectangle with a mesh tool.